Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the monastery, the open bar of the internet, the world's greatest shit show, and the place where we, the good brothers and sisters of this most holy of temples, seek enlightenment through the drunkest, craziest, and most batshit ways possible. I am your one and only gaming monk, better known as Mildra, and with me I have a newcomer into the temple, coming to us from Neurodrive Games, previously known for the many different incarnations of the true D6 system, with about 3 different rule supplements, as well as the Japan-themed campaign, as well as a post-apocalyptic campaign. Now coming to us with a much different approach, with Neurodrive Origins, which congratulations on getting that funded well past its initial goal.
Thank you very much.
The one and only Lucio Gozzi. I'm hoping I pronounced things right.
Lucio, it's Lucio.
Lucio. Duly noted.
Pardon?
Thank you for clarifying. I try my best with pronunciations, but I unfortunately do have an accent, so I do the best I can.
Oh no, okay. I'm surely I have a bigger accent and a worse accent than you. And no, anyway, the name is Lucio Gozzi, and from Neurodrive Games. And thank you for your invitation, and I'm glad to answer to every question at my best that you will pose to me.
And I certainly will. But
okay,
I suppose the tradition that I'd have to go into first is the humble beginnings, the origin story, if you will. So,
okay,
walk me through your first introduction to role-playing games and what made it stick.
Okay, I was 15, now I am 51, by the way. And I was in a local club, and first time ever I played Call of Cthulhu. And soon after I played the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons 2nd edition. And it was in English back then, even for Italian audience. And then I fell in love absolutely with role-playing games, and I never stopped. And still with my friends, we gather weekly at my friend's home, the same old guys I met in that club, and that are my lifetime friends. So since the hobby was role-playing was a constant thing in my life, always really, and I tried many games, many systems, as every geek and every nerd around. For a lot of time I was sticking with the various incarnation and editions of Dungeons and Dragons, with a big period of White Wolf vampires and werewolves and mage and the like. Then at a point we got like sick of the 4th edition of Dungeons and Dragons, and we had a little revamp, me and my friends, with the 5th edition, but now we are not so happy with it. Even, of course, a lot of people plays it and likes it, and it's perfectly okay. And so we will see what to play next time when the current campaign will end. So when I was in my life, for 24 years I worked as a video game technician, you know, the arcade games like Pac-Man.
Oh yeah.
But at some point, the company I was working for, it simply bankrupted, and I found myself without a job. So what I'm doing now, and I thought in 2018, I published my first attempt to publishing something on Kickstarter, and it was kind of board game and role-play game mix in book format, named Tekka Force, Mecha, Anime, and Lego all blended together. And my first campaign miserably failed. It wasn't funded. So I anyway printed the game and I sold it at a local game convention. But after that, I was like a bit discouraged. But after some time, I wanted to try again, and I started to publish some one-shot adventures for Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition with the open license, as you know. Then I had some fair success with it, and after some issues of those adventures, I wanted to publish my own setting based on the setting I was using and I wrote for my friends in the past. Then I began to experiment with card games and print and play games. But of course, my real love and my passion are role-playing games. So since I got sick of the too much crunch and useless quantity of rules, all similar each one to another, a lot of rule sets you can find, I wanted to fish in the old school, but not to make the another clone, retro clone, because there are enough of them. So I just meditate like you. Since you are a monk, you can understand me well.
Yes.
Yes, and I was meditating how to make it simple and accessible, because I wanted to bring it in the schools, in the local schools, and to involve newbies as well. But not simply writing something, those very narrative rule sets in which everything is left in the hands of the master. Okay, you have strength, dexterity, and intelligence. Okay, you roll if you have a high result with a die.
Yeah, the story games, the narrativist games, the ones that, in the more extreme cases, seem to forget that they are games with how much they talk about in Borderline fetishize the story.
Okay, so I wanted something that was simple and easy and streamlined, but at the same time could offer some crunch to the veterans, like I feel to be, and to the people that wanted to even do something, when you build your character and you try you new build combination of feats and skills, and it's funny to do such things, not just when you are at the table with your friends, but even when you are alone to plan a new character and to write an adventure. So how did I humbly tried to make it by writing through the 6 the first time, because of accessibility reasons. And I had a friend that was trying a project in their school, and he had so old computers there that it couldn't even run easy application and software. So ask no more, and I wrote an ASCII, how do you pronounce it?
That is
just
how it's said. Yeah.
Okay.
I remember when I got a hold of the ASCII version of True D6, I ended up getting flashbacks to my time on places like GameFAQs and the guides there that use that setup a lot.
So, and I tried this experiment. So I sold it at a minimal price on Kickstarter, and this fair success. And so I wanted to, since I was asked to many backers, why don't you realize a printable version of the same game? And so I made it, and just adjusting some things, and as in the original version, text version, I tried to convey, as I told you before, simplicity with many options to make exactly the kind of character you wanted. And another important thing for me was allowing people, especially the master, the game master, to prepare sessions and convert their previously owned material very, very quickly and easily. Just picking monsters and picking situation on the fly, like when you have a door, a trap, a chest, or some check you need to move the story forward. Just you have to roll one die. So just with a booklet, one die and one pencil, you are done, and you can go everywhere and make people sit at the table. Okay, you can, even if you don't have the character sheets, you can simply write sketch the attributes on a piece of paper, and you're good to go.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of people appreciated this kind of approach, and I was encouraged to write more stuff. As you know, I wrote the first stuff for the original fantasy version of 3D6, and I tried with Kogarashi. I tried. I mean, another love of mine is the feudal Japan stuff. Since I was 2 years old, I watched the samurai vintage series, you know, with the crappy dubbing and the crappier blood effects. Okay, but I love them. And so I tried to make this version of Japanese Japan medieval 2D6. And I crafted the Kogarashi, and inspired also by a time when I met the good old Gary Gygax in Modena. He came at a convention, and he signed my copy of Oriental Adventures for the first edition of Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. And looking at this manual now, there are very few illustrations. Is a damn lot of oh my god, of clunky rules. Okay, but there were the times in which you simply loved this kind of stuff, and diving into these very, very complicated and hyper descriptive things. Anyway, this game has had a good appreciation, and up to date is my campaign. Among my campaigns, Kogarashi is the one that went most funded in absolute. And so after that, I wanted to experiment with new classes and new one-shots for the original 3D6. As you mentioned at the start of the interview, I wanted to try a zombie apocalypse version inspired by the Walking Dead things and stuff like that. And now I came to Neurodrive Origins because of my love. I also am into manga and anime, and one of the anime I really liked was Sword Art Online, in which these Japanese students got stuck into online game, a virtual online game, and in Neurodrive, you are not really stuck because of a strange move by the creator, but because you are a comatose patient that are into a virtual environment, hoping to be cured and waiting to awake. And meanwhile, you are there, and you can live your own ideal life, and you can study, and you can meet other patients like you, and you can have a decent life.
Yeah.
And if you have to ask me something specific, I'm sorry if I'm just blah blah talking.
No worries. I will note, when I was going through the initial blurb with it, I could see the sort of online connections, but there was one other multimedia project that I wanted to ask if it's been brought up to you, and that is Project .hack.
The Dodak, yes, it's an old kind of an old brand, and there were video games for the PS1, PlayStation 1 also.
Not PS1, PS2.
Yes, PS2 was already, maybe, yeah. But I never watched that series. But I want to do that soon.
Yeah.
Because for many reasons, you have always a backlog of series to watch, and movies and games to play, so it's a mess. But it's definitely on my list, this one.
Yeah, and part of the reason I bring that up is a major element within the game quartet, as well as the anime, was people trapped in an online world, or people trapped in a coma as a result of that online game, and that was something that came to mind. Now, one of the big departures within Neurodrive Origins is the approach that you've taken with the skill system by organizing it in a grid. Even if it's using the core for classes, what prompted this grid design?
I was like inspired maybe by some issues of the Final Fantasy video games at such a kind of skill grid, and I wanted to give a bit of vibe of a video game and some differentiation in building your own tune.
Mm-hmm.
And so you simply, when you pick your class, you pick a starting point at the center of the grid, and then you can move following the lines and
Mm-hmm.
the links. And as usual, when you create your character and when you level up, you have 2 skills to choose, and
Mm-hmm.
you can go following the links, and you can explore not maybe the opposite part of the grid, or very very far skills from your starting point, because if you do, you can, but maybe you overlook some core skills, because every quarter of the grid is concerns a particular class,
Mm-hmm.
the typical skills of a particular class. So you are free to do what you want, but if you go too far from your starting point, maybe you don't have some skills that could complete your character for his initial inclination and role, but at the same time you can boost his versatility, and so it's really up to you how you decide to develop it. And and yes.
Mm-hmm. So with that kind of thing in mind, I'm guessing that within the world itself, within Neurodrive, you are planning not necessarily a setting, but a set of bullet points to kind of build around.
I tell you, not a secret, not so secret. Neurodrive Origins, okay, it's a complete game. You can play even past the included campaign, and you can use it as a rule set as you want. But actually, lore-wise, it's a prequel to a game I'm writing now, and I'm a good point. And this game will be named Yugen no Sekai, and it will be again a game like the same genre, when you were actually a human player, and a person that moves in the real world and also in the virtual world when you link yourself to the game. So you will play on 2 layers, and it will be a big game, and it will be the sequel of Neurodrive Origins, and there are some small elements and Easter eggs that link the 2 games. So it will be interesting, in my opinion, to know Neurodrive, because you get the grasp of some pieces of the lore and some secrets that you won't have explicit in Yugen no Sekai, and the other way around. So I am trying to do, like the same lore, the same stuff. The events that will happen, especially at the end of the campaign of Neurodrive, are the foundation to the beginning of this new game, that Yugen no Sekai, and I will publish it with the team of guys I'm working with. The team is named Full Metal Games, with which I made and published the Tri system and other fantasy rule set. And it's another thing, and if you want later, I will tell you what's about. Okay.
But since you brought up the idea of an official campaign, I think one of the things I'd be curious about on that front is this a campaign that's expected to go multiple sessions, or would it only be a few sessions, or even a sandbox?
Mm, Really, it's a pretty driven campaign. It's not really a sandbox campaign like it will be in the sequel of Neurodrive. But I think it really depends on how speedy are your players, because the same adventure, can last many sessions with one group of players, and can run really fast with another. But it's the campaign is divided in 4 acts, and Act 1 is an introduction. Act 2 is 5 subsections. Act 3, 4 subsection, and Act 4, 2 subsections. So each subsection, it depends. It's like not really a one shot. Maybe it could be a one shot if you employ some time, but there's definitely a lot of material ready to play, and it covers half of the book. Half of the pages are dedicated to this campaign. And of course, you don't have to play exactly this campaign. If you want, you can play it, or you simply can play, then use the rule set to do whatever you want, or you skip the campaign and play how you want.
Yeah. Now, since you hinted at the whole sequel thing, I am a bit curious as far as the price system that you're using. Is that a system that's already present in one of your other games, or is that going to be brand new?
No, this game, Price System, I wrote it for a fantasy game, and the foundation of the system, it's a 6-sided die, and one side has the 1, 2 sides as the 2, and 3 side as the 3. So it's okay. So for example, you have attributes with and every attribute had linked skills, and the score, the value of your attribute, for example, strength. If you have strength 4, means you are going to roll 4 dice, and if you are going to brawl, if your brawl skill rank is 2, you roll 4 die and you check the 2 as successes. If you had 3 brawl 3, you would have checked the 3s have successes. I don't know if it's clear or not.
Yeah.
So the attribute gives you the number of dice you are going to roll, and the score, your skill, the connected skill, gives the which result you are going to consider a success. Of course, the 3 is the more likely to be rolled, and the 1 is the less likely to be rolled. And around this simple principle, we made the custom die. We had the custom die printed, and I wrote this system for fantasy, classical fantasy, and friendly environment, and it's more it's more complex than True D6. Okay, it's a well-structured system, a more structured one, and as it will be Yugen no Sekai. But it's still easy to pick up, and again, if you come from Dungeons and Dragons, or we should say the most famous popular game in the world, as
in this monastery, we go with the name, the world's most litigious role-playing game, to have a bit of fun over that whole incident.
Okay. Anyway, if you come from D&D, you can easily convert your stuff again 4 tries, as you can easily convert 4 to D6. So because I want people to migrate if they want, while retaining their old material and be able to use it for a new system.
I can certainly get that. Now, I think one thing that I find kind of interesting when I look back at like core True D6, and I'm guessing this is going to still be the case here, is even if you have casters like the cleric and wizard archetype, you're not using an MP system, which is definitely a bold move, since a lot of folk feel that you need to use an MP system or something like the Advancian model that D&D uses. But you opted not to do that, instead building it on rests.
Yes, you have exhaustible skills that you can use over and over until you don't fail the check, and you have the rest exhausting skill that you are granted that they will work, but they will be exhausted once you use them. And I can give you a small spoiler. There will be in the future, there will be let's call it advanced through the 6, okay, and it will use a kind of mana MP, and it will be focus, and with that you still will have the exhaustible skill, but with focus in a very limited resource, you can gain it with critical results, critical rolls, and you replenish your focus and you can recharge some skills. So it's completely differently balanced anyway. But still, I didn't like the typical D&D system with spell slots. For me, it is really too unrealistic. Like, why should I am a wizard, why should I forget magic missile? I did cast it 100 times.
Oh,
No, it's not
believe me, I've had some very strong takes on the Advancian model when it comes to magic. I did a whole 20-minute video ripping into it. But
okay. No, please.
But with that in mind, would it be fair to say that some abilities like magic is more of a game of chicken in that sense? Of you can keep using it, but each time you do, there's a risk that you have it cut off if the dice gods are not as kind that day.
But you can minimize this because you have some skills that allow you to recharge any skill that you exhausted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could certainly see it.
Oh, and let me tell you a curious fact. Shortly after I published True 6, I wanted to buy Shadow Dark. It's a really good game, old school game, all black and white page layout and minimal, very well written and streamlined. And I congratulate the authors. And I really didn't read it read it carefully, but I think that it uses the same principle. You exhaust your skills like more or less like you do in True 6. So it's curious that we had the same idea, the same guess at the same time, but they were funded for like $1,600,000. So next time, let's hope it will be my turn.
Yep. I could definitely see it. Now, with that in mind, for Neurodrive, what are you shooting for as far as a page count?
Porter, can you repeat, please? I didn't get it.
Yeah, what would you be shooting for as far as the amount of pages that Neurodrive is going to have?
Oh, Neurodrive is 96, if I'm correct. I have the copy right in my hands, so let me go. 96 pages, and with a tiny amount of fun service, because I think that every game should have some fun, completely useless fun service, and Neurodrive will have some on the 4th page of the cover and on the last page, and here and there something. Because I hired a talented artist that made all the artworks for Neurodrive, and her specialization are women nudes. So. Yeah. She like begged me, oh please let me let me draw some nudes also, not just regular artworks.
Yeah.
Okay, you can
Yeah.
do that, and I think that at least the guys won't be disappointed by that.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Oh, yeah, I can get that. And
Okay.
I believe you stated that on the Kickstarter page that the delivery is June 2025. Are you
Yes, but
keeping to that as far as the digital version, or do you think it's going to be a bit
yes,
a bit
you
further
know,
down?
no, usually when I make any campaign, just the second I get the funds, but not because I am greedy and I want the funds beforehand, but because when Kickstarter stops to trying to collect the pledge, because some backers always it happens. Maybe someone has a blocked card, expired credit card, or empty credit card. All the people that couldn't fix their payments method, okay, they are cut off after 2 weeks past the campaign, and so at that point I promptly distribute all the codes, which usually are ready, and this is surely the case of Neurodrive. The product is already uploaded on Drive-Thru RPG in the digital version and also the print-on-demand version.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that within June, it's for sure I will distribute the codes. Another thing is the Foundry VTT version, because the modules, I'm not doing the modules myself, but Hot Publishing is a team of skilled guys that make a lot of stuff for Foundry, and they have, of course, their deadlines with other games as well, and so the Foundry codes to have the modules for Neurodrive will take a bit more time. I don't know how much, but anyway, sooner or later, within a few months, they will be distributed as well. But for the normal version, absolutely, I guarantee that it will be distributed within June.
All right. I can certainly get that. And with that said, I do want to sincerely thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to come all the way to my monastery and enjoy the madness that happens here.
I thank you very, very much.
And anytime you see fit to return, the door is always open. As I often say around here, drinking is not mandatory, but it is encouraged.
Oh, I'm a bit strong drinker, so I totally agree with you.
And of course, a sincere thanks goes out to everyone who took the time out of their schedule to come onto the show and enjoy the madness. And there'll be plenty more where that came from, as there always is here, on the open bar of the internet. But until then, on behalf of the good brothers present and not present, my name is Mildra, I am your gaming monk. Stay fucking frosty, everybody!
Thank you. Gozzi.